we go. Oh, early morning. Hello. Howdy. Few minutes over. Wow. I try to fit everything I have to do in 2 minutes. It's fine. We went over. Anyway, hello. I'm hoping I fixed everything that I went through yesterday. I'm attempting to fix game stuff, stream stuff, so I can be able to actually stream games. Because for some odd reason, everything, like literally out of nowhere, everything switched, and I went from being able to play games on stream to like not being able to because the frames would drop so significantly. So to Streamlabs settings, did a little, I had it auto-optimize, and then I was going to figure out everything else, and I more or less did that. So everything should be working. Keyword should. There's no guarantee that it will, but I'm hoping it does. I need to open up Subnautica, that's what I need to do. This is early for me, honestly. 10 o'clock streams? That's insane. Lord knows I don't do those. Nope. Yeah, we'll go with that. Oh, gee. This one, I didn't do much on it. No? Really? 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 That's concerning. Okay. That fixed nothing? What? Alright, I gotta... Wait, that's fine. Okay, so nothing fixed. Got it. It's just awesome? Ah. Now I'm upset. Now I'm upset. Yeah. I can't do anything because I'm streaming now. Alright. We're gonna do something else potentially. I'm trying to think of what won't run my frames into the ground, but I've tried Minecraft. And like it won't run anything, and that bugs me. So no. Well, I'm now trying to think of what to do. Because it won't run properly, which is dumb. So I need to go in and continue to fix that. So I couldn't find one of the things I just straight couldn't find yesterday. And now all of a sudden it's there. I need to fix that actually. Okay, so not Subnautica. Maybe. But I don't know what to do. So we're just gonna vibe. That's what we're gonna do. Just gonna vibe. I'm gonna do a just chatting stream. Why? Because Lord knows nothing's working. So, hi, hello. I have nothing to talk about if I'm out things with people. So I might be streaming with another group soon. Yay. Oh, Spotify is having issues and it bugs me. I'm gonna need to fix that soon. After this stream I'll go in and fix everything. And hope things work. Because I need to fix bitrate. That's what I need. There we go. I think of something that we could do. You know? Just currently vibing's all I got. GeoGuessr is my only other option. as far as like things we can do. But I'm really bad at GeoGuessr, so. Also surprisingly early. Trying to think. You can go through Reddit. Reddit's pretty interesting. There's some odd subreddits. I'm gonna look up a list of strange subreddits. Strange subreddit. Oh, they've got a list. Aha. Oh boy. Wait, this is great, actually. Actually, though? Okay, so we're gonna go through weird subreddits, because we can. The first one is r/tree stuck on things, and I'm curious. Tree stuck on things subreddit. Why is that actually pretty? Trees just growing around things is insane to me. They're just thriving literally everywhere. I mean, with this, it just proves that, like, that's actually really pretty. It's like trees, man. I mean, they're just trees grow around everything. That one's just interesting. How did it get? This just raises questions. I mean, some of them don't because it's just the tree, like, growing around it, but others do because, like, what? How? There's nothing around. There's, like, trees, obviously, but, like... I will say, that is an odd subreddit. That's another one. Birds with arms. I need to see this. Birds with arms. r/birds with arms. Arms Reddit. I love him. I love him. I would do this. If I had a chicken, I would do this. They're either like photoshopped or... It looks like they've like more or less photoshopped legs on, and I love that. Look at this dapper man. Absolute dapper boy. I love it. This is a great subreddit. Hold on. Did I join the subreddit? Wait. Question. I love it. Oh, there's join. I'm part of the subreddit now. That's all I wanted in life. He's got a pirate on his shoulder. I love that. Wait, I just realized those are hands. A bird in hand. That's so weird. I like these. Cute. This is a great subreddit. This is a great subreddit. People just make little arms for birds. I love that. Whoever you are, you're amazing. I love this. Like, that's great, actually. Birds with arms. Realized it has arms. I don't know if I'm just tired or my brain's just not seeing them correctly. Does the arm have birds, or was the arms edited onto the birds? Oh, that bird just has arms? Oh, bird has arms. I love this. Man's just fishing. I love this. This is a great subreddit. I could sit on the subreddit for hours if I were on Reddit more. But I'm not on Reddit enough. Oh, they have just done the opposite. Not the opposite. More or less the opposite. People with bird heads Reddit. I will say, this one isn't as great as birds with hands. Con order. Seen this before. I love this one. Con order. Yeah, this one definitely isn't as great as Fifth World Problems. I decided to visit Rome. All roads lead to Rome. So when I try to leave Rome, I end up in Rome again. So how do I get out of Rome? I'll set my New Year's resolution too low. 2018 has been pixelated all week. How do I fix it? That's funny. Resolution. I need this one. Fifth world problems. Curious, I need to know. / fifth world problems. Going to others, even if others do, they said, so I did. Now everybody is dead. And yet, I remain painfully immortal. I'm capable of escaping the horror and elements. And horror and oh boy, it is too early. eternal form that I possess. Release me. Release me, please. I feel like reading. Check my robot friend. He's not taking well. These are good, but oof, there we go. These are funny. Gray and cloudy. Sitting out. Oh, why are these good? This subreddit looks slept on. This looks great. How long do I have? Stop. Time for stop sign in minutes relative to me. I've been here for over 15 minutes relative to me, but no time has passed relative to anything else. What? Which timeline is this? It's great. What? I hate how Apple just sells music goggles and the earbuds have to be harvested after market by local farmers. I'm confused on that one. That's lovely. I love it. What? Unstripped paint. Oh. Oh, so it's like paint, right? Wait. It's paint that hasn't been fully mixed. I'm so. Bar/chairs underwater. I feel like this is gonna kill me. Bar/chairs under. Technically counts. Yeah. I love it. Chair underwater. Thank you for your contribution, good sir. I'd do that. That's something I would do. And I love that. Oh. That looks like it's been there for a while. Everything kind of looks like it's been there. Now that... that I'm not a fan of. Oh. My thoughts? I kind of hate it. That looks pretty creepy, honestly. I also can't tell if it's underwater or if it's like... Yeah, no, it's underwater. I don't know what it's gonna... Oh, it's gonna say under snow, honestly. Yeah? Pretty much. I've got questions. I love divers finding chairs. Got questions? This is just a full video, honestly. But how does this... It's just a whole scene underwater. It's just a whole scene underwater. That's actually really cool. Oh, that's really cool. Rolling chair in a frozen pond? Like in a frozen pond. Frozen? Words? English. We're getting there. This is oddly interesting. Hmm. My evil plan. Wasn't this a thing not all that long ago? Well, kind of a while ago. What was this? There are so many, like, bread trees. Yeah, it was things like this. We'll just put bread on trees. And it wasn't, like, super, super long ago. But people were just putting bread on trees. When was that? When was the bread on trees trend? 2019. That was in like July of 2019. People just like slapped bread on trees and it was so confusing. Because this is all they did, they just put bread on trees. What's the point of it? Oh, that's lovely. Don't know how long that's been sitting there. Oof. That's so weird, though. Again, it was just a thing. People just, like, slapped bread on trees and called it a day. Monks looking at... I need to see this one. I'm also cold. I'm gonna grab a jacket. Monks looking at beer. It's a subreddit. There are so many strange subreddits. Like r slash, what is it? R slash strange toilets is something interesting. Wow. Not as interesting. That's the end of them. Alright. Let me get back to that one. Go into the subreddit. Slash cursed comments. Okay, these are pretty great, not gonna lie. What's the whole thing? It's just, hey, you visited this a lot. You want to, like, contribute? No, no, no. This is pretty great, though. Hello, Miss Hill, can I help you? Yes, how about phone number? Um, yeah. Yeah. Shift and falls into their car, obviously. Yep. Okay, but they said facts. They said facts. Oh boy. Where you actually learn uh yeah, you just brought them from the store like everything else. In some places you still that's terrible. Dark and deep. Oof. I hate it. Walking perfectly straight path, my ankles. How about no? So often that I'm not starting to develop. Wow. Murder hornets are big. One stings with pain, the other stings with disappointment. Ah, it's beautiful. There's so many good ones. Oh, there are such cursed images, though. There has to be one. Cursed images. Cursed images underscore has more. These are terrible. I hate all of them. Never mind. Why did I think that was a good idea? Who knows? r/nosleep. Horror stories, boys. Horror stories. Ooh. Horror stories. Oh, never mind. Not that one. Oh, that's cool. That's a long story. I don't feel like reading that much. Promo 2. It's been 3 days. Ooh. Alright, horror story time. I'm gonna zoom. Okay. Let me get to the chase and just catch you up on things that happened so far. This house is haunted. I don't know how the hell anyone managed to sleep at night and call themselves a human being. We moved in just last Monday and knew something was up. I've always had a sixth sense about this sort of thing. One time, my wife and I spent an anniversary at a hotel, and we changed rooms 4 times because I felt something was wrong in each suite we stayed in. Turned out I was right. Either a murder or some weird scandal had happened in each of them. It's just big brain out here. This property was no different, but didn't really have a choice in the matter. I won't go into too many details, but our finances have been very tight lately, so this was all we could afford. Anyway, back to the ghost thing. Our youngest, Callie, I believe is how you say that? Our youngest, Callie, is one that first had an encounter. This was Wednesday. She said that someone was in her attic, but we told her that there is no attic. Well, I hear someone walk around on my ceiling then. She snapped. I decided to take her word for it and check it. Word for it and check. And wouldn't you know it, there was some residue from a shoe on the ceiling. How the hell it got there, I don't know. But but I was convinced that something was wrong, especially because of what happened next. Ooh. My children had nightmares about the basement before it was unlocked. Fun. First of all, you unlocked it. I feel like that's an issue. Immediate issue. You know, you unlocked the basement. When we got to the property, we were told that there was a wine cellar. Nothing out of the ordinary, and actually, it sounded like something that we had always wanted. There's a lock on the door, which the real estate agent admitted they didn't have a key for. I'm sure if you use something strong, you can get it open, though. Just, no one has ever really had much use for space down there. They said, I knew something was off. I could feel it. My skin was crawling as I looked down toward the basement door. There were about 4 steps, just jutted downwards, and then ended abruptly in a short hovel. Yes. The door looked old, probably older than the house itself. It did not look pleasant or friendly. No basement looks pleasant or friendly. Most basements are just scary, honestly. Where was it? There it was. It looked like it was meant to stay locked. My wife was immediately intrigued by it, though. I bet there are some great those are wands down there. I can borrow my dad's drill and get it open in no time, she told me. I had a bad feeling, especially when both Callie and Adrian had dreams about the basement. Adrian was first. He's always had an avid imagination after Callie had reported that she was sure people were walking on her ceiling. First of all, people walking on ceilings is terrifying, and I hate that. Like, I watched Paranormal Activity, and it got to like where they left the first of all, I'm scared. Hello. It got to the point where like they put flour, I think it was like flour or something on the floor, and then they like waited because Paranormal Activity, there's like a demon or something living in that house, and like it ran up on the ceiling, and I was like, no, thank you, not at all. Anyway. Right. Walking on the ceiling. He couldn't sleep and just came to bed with us. That resulted in a night where no one got any rest because he kept waking up screaming. What has gotten into you? I asked him. I keep hearing something under the floor. It's getting into my skin. He would tell me frantically. He said there was something that was growing under the house. In one dream, it was a weed. In the next, it was an octopus. Either way, it was unsettling. He had never had strange dreams like this before. Still, my wife was now even more curious because of the nightmares. Don't be. Your kid has nightmares about your creepy basement. Don't open your creepy basement. It's that simple. Ooh. There's birds. There's 2 red robins that just flew. Happy things. All right. If there's something about the basement, I want to know what it is, she decided. Audrey has always been a bit stubborn. I told her to leave it alone. I hope it was... Jesus. My hope was that if we ignored the otherworldly presence in our house, it would get tired and move on. It's not true. Depending on what it is, it will just hate you more. That didn't happen. Something in the basement doesn't want us to leave. It was Saturday when Audrey finally found a way to open the door. I didn't even know she'd gotten a drill. I had to go to work that day, but by the time I had gotten home, she was already in the basement. I remember walking in and announcing to the kids that I was home. Normal Saturday afternoon would mean they were either playing outside or on their Xbox. But this time, the house was empty and quiet. I immediately felt the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, as my first thought went to the basement. Basement's creepy. Shouldn't have opened it. You leave the demons down in the basement. Sure enough, I saw that the door was slightly ajar, but I couldn't see anything beyond the 4th step. It seems like it plunged straight into darkness. I was just about to walk down there and see if she was maybe sorting through whatever might be below, when I had a second thought. The sense of foreboding overwhelmed my body, and instead I decided to call her cell phone. I heard it ringing below my feet, and I heard Adam make a giggle. Adrian, sorry. I don't know why I just called him Adam. Adrian. Make a giggle from the stairs, and I turned toward the basement door and called out to them. Hey, don't scare me like that, I shouted. No response. It made me uneasy. I tried to call again, and it rang, and still she didn't respond. Adrian, tell your mom to come up, and you too. Where's Callie? I asked. We're all down here, he responded. Something in his voice was off. He was chilling. Okay, well, are you coming up then? I asked. No. Oh, short and succulent? That I can't read English sometimes. Answer. Something was wrong. Adrian, listen, I need you to come upstairs. Why don't you come downstairs, father? Because the basement's creepy? That didn't sound like my son at all. I looked down the stairwell and saw two glowing orbs, which I assumed were his eyes. I couldn't see their pupils. Oh, no, get out. Those aren't your kids anymore. Leave them. Leave them down there. Just those white circles. I tried my best not to be frightened as I spoke. How long have you been down there? I asked. Long enough, he responded. I took a tentative step toward him. You really need to come up now. All of you. It's not safe down there. He smiled, and I could see his teeth, which made the rest of his shadowed face look inhuman. Are you sure it's safe up there? He whispered. I didn't take any more steps towards him. I knew this was wrong. I felt cold talking to him, like it was just an empty void. That was Saturday, and I waited an hour before I was sure they weren't coming back up. Yeah, that was English. Then I tried again, and told them to come up, and got the same response, except this time from my daughter. Daddy, I like it down here. You will too, she said in a hum. I hardly slept that night, because I was so worried about my family. I didn't know who to call or what to do. You call a priest. That's what you do. You call a priest. It's not like the police were going to come over something like this. The police were going to come over. What? Sure. I kept hearing scratches on the floor, and it would keep me awake. I've never felt so watched as I stayed in bed. I hate that. Like there were eyes in the floor below. Then Sunday came, and I went to work, trying desperately to ignore the sense of dread building inside me. I would get texts from my wife every so often. When are you coming home? The kids miss you. I miss you too, of course. We need to be a family together. We have to stay together as a family. That prompted me to respond. Then stop this foolishness and come upstairs. It's you who's being the fool here, John. I decided to stop reading the texts after that. When I got home, the house was quiet again, and I didn't even go near the stairs. I grabbed some sleep meds, locked myself in my bedroom, hoping that the night would pass quickly. Now it's Tuesday, and things have progressed worse, a lot worse. We're hungry, Daddy. Can you please come feed us? Callie whispered at me as I passed the stairs this morning. I called a few people in the area, spiritual leaders and such, hoping maybe they could come give advice. As you might imagine, no one wanted to talk to me. They thought I was crazy. Maybe I am. I don't think that it would be possible for something so simple to be so sinister. But it is, and I'm terrified. Because I don't want anything harmful to happen to my family. Why don't you come up and eat, baby? I asked my girl. We can't. It won't let us leave. And if I didn't already have confirmation that something was happening down there, this sent shivers up my spine. And you can't leave either, my wife added. I saw all three of them there. 3 pairs of eyes in the darkness, staring up at me. Just come down here, Audrey insisted. I took a step towards them, my heart racing. Something was compelling me to go deeper. Take one more step. Just do it, John. Just do it. Then I heard a low growl as I reached for the door. It was like the house settling and preparing to swallow me whole. I slammed the door, caught my breath, refusing to go a step further. For a moment, there was silence. Then I heard a noise on the other side of the door. Tap, tap. I ignored it at first. Tap, tap. I bit my lip and whispered, "Who's there?" There was a giggle mixed with a hellish growl. "Daddy, it's me. Please open the door. Pretty please." "Get out of that house, my guy. Go, leave. Be gone. That's terrible. Your wife and kids, they're gone. They've left. Gone." It's an update. It's an update. Ooh. Okay, okay. We got an update, boys. We got an update. I really wanted to just break down and cry after what happened yesterday. Because I was about 90% sure that my family was gone. They went into the dark basement below. And they have refused to come back upstairs since Saturday. I've tried everything to see what is down there. Flashlights, lanterns, but I haven't gone past the door. I can sense an evil there. And I know it's taken them. Here's the idea. Stage, like burn down your house, but stage it to look like an accident. Big brain. They went to the dark basement below, and they refused to come back upstairs since Saturday. I've tried oh, right, I read that. In fact, I was so upset, I just did something I probably shouldn't have. But in a way, I've gotten the ball rolling towards some answers. Full disclosure, some alcohol was involved in the decision making. After a few drinks, I called one person I thought might have answers to this mess. The real estate agent. Truth be told, I felt ashamed, and I didn't think of it sooner. But another reason I wanted to call is because my patience was gone. I demanded an answer when she finally answered the phone. John, you need to slow down. You aren't making sense," she stuttered. Something in her voice told me that she knew and I was too drunk to care about her to let it slide. You need to get over here and explain what the hell is happening. What the hell I need to do to help my family. I demanded. All right. I'll be there in a couple of hours. I sat at the kitchen table, fidgeting and afraid. Every so often, I would hear the pitter-patter of bare feet below me, the sound of my children supposedly playing in the basement. Every time I heard them laugh or giggle, I nearly lost it. In fact, right before the agent came in, I was in a really drunken stupor and started to yell down at the basement, demanding it responded. "I don't know what you want from me, but you need to let my family go. We haven't done anything to you. Do you hear me?" I screamed. Of course, the basement didn't respond. It was unnaturally quiet, in fact. And that just made me even more upset. I stumbled down the steps to the door and slammed my fist against it. What do you want?" I shouted louder. This time, I heard a low, scratching noise and nearly jolted from the step. As I saw strange lettering burning into the door from the other side. I hate that. Get out. Leave. Not worth it. Your family's gone. I hate to break it to you, but they're gone. Took a moment for the word to form. Single signed into the old wood permanently, like a scar, and in the middle, and it made me literally gasp for air. Ooh. Excuse me. Then the doorbell rang. The real estate agent was here. I foamed back upstairs and went to the front door, glaring at her. About time, I responded as she came in. "You've been drinking. What the hell is going on? Where's your wife?" she asked nervously. "That's exactly what I've been trying to tell you. They've been in the basement, and now they won't come up," I explained. She walked over to the stairs, looked down the door, commenting. "I see you managed to take the lock off. So what was down there anyways?" "I haven't gone down," I admitted. She gave me a puzzled look. What's that on the door? She walked towards the door, get a good look at it, and then asked me, Did you do this? No. How could I asked. She tried the handle, but it didn't budge. The door was stuck shut. And you're telling me Audrey and the kids are down there. How long have they been down there? She asked, as she jiggled the handle with no luck. I fidgeted with my feet, feeling ashamed and embarrassed and frightened all at once. About 4 days now. Her eyes widened in alarm as she pulled out her phone and announced, I'm calling the cops. This is unacceptable. It's negligence. You should have called the fire department by now. How the hell are you getting food and resources down there? She pushed me aside and walked back to the kitchen and dialed 911. Then I heard a low rumble below my feet and a noise from one of the bedrooms. What was that? The real estate agent asked. Then she was talking to an operator. A shadow appeared in the doorway, and I felt immediately cold and empty inside. Ew, I hate this. This is good. Standing there in the hallway was my wife, or at least it was something that looked exactly like my wife. Oh, thank God, the agent said, and added to the operator that it was a false alarm. Is everything all right? Audrey asked softly. I was at a loss for words, watching as my wife walked into the kitchen and stood alongside the sink. The agent slid her phone back into her pocket and gave me the stink eye. It would seem that your husband here had the idea that you and the children were in danger. Honestly, I'm hoping all of this was a great prank in my expense. She commented dryly. Audrey laughed. It didn't sound like her laugh. I kept still as the agent walked over to her and added, After this little scare you gave me, I think I deserve a drink. You did say you got wine from the cellar, correct? I can get you something, Audrey answered, walking to the fridge. So what was it that my husband told you was wrong? She asked Cosley. You and the kids were locked downstairs. Or something in the basement. Audrey, I heard you down there, I said softly. She poured the wine and smiled at me. It was not the friendly look I knew from her. Well, I'm clearly not in the basement now, am I? And you believed that nonsense? She asked the agent, passing her the wine. She sipped and chuckled softly. Well, to be honest, I've heard a few rumors about this property. It's been somewhat difficult to sell. So the story sounded outlandish, but I guess I let my imagination get the best of me. Rumors, I said, keeping an eye on Audrey. She was watching the agent all the way, lion stalking their prey. Where are the children anyways? Our guest asked. Excuse me, Audrey said, seemingly surprised at the question. I really should be going, but before I do, can I at least confirm the children are alright, the agent said. Oh yes, of course, Audrey said, fumbling for something. I saw it just as her fingers curled around the handle, and it made noise. Watch out, it was too late. She twisted the knife and slammed it straight into the agent's face. Oh. This is why you just leave. This is why, you should have just gone. Sell the house. Your wife and kids in the basement, you know? The woman screamed, dropping the wine glass, and immediately scrambled to defend herself. Audrey was faster. She grabbed the woman's hair and slammed her into the sink, forcing her under as she started the water. Audrey, you're going to suffocate her, I screamed as I tried to pull her off. She pushed me away and then turned on the garbage disposal. Ooh. Some content. The grinding noise filled the air as I heard the woman scream louder. The blood began to splatter splatter out in every direction. My wife didn't even blink as she kept the woman's face down until her body had gone limp. Question. Do you have a phone? Just recording it real quick. Ooh. Finally, when she was sure that the real estate agent was dead, she lifted her from the garbage disposal and tossed her to the floor. I did my best not to look at her mangled face. Then she dragged the bloody body towards the basement stairs. Audrey, talk to me. What the hell are you doing? Talk to me, I said, trying to stop her. She made a hissing noise and pushed me away. Just imagine you know how, not e-girls, but, there's, the people that bark at people? That's just what I imagine, except, she hisses. What the hell are you doing? She pushed the door open to the sheer darkness below. I tried again to stop her, but she scratched me across the face, slamming me against the wall as she dragged the body down the stairs to the basement. She's a cat. Your wife has turned into a cat. A demon cat, but a cat. I listened as I heard the noise of bones breaking and growls from predators, fighting over a fresh meal. It sounded so primal, so animalistic. Then, from the darkness, Audrey stepped out and closed the door, looking down at her blood-splattered clothes. "What have you done?" I whispered, barely able to find my voice. I was in fear of what she might do to me if I got in her way. She blinked, looking confused and surprised at the question. "The children were hungry." I clenched my fist. Those things down there aren't our kids." I looked at her with hate and anger. "And you're not my wife." She made a low hiss. "That's no way to talk to me, John. And I would be careful with what you think you are going to do next. Ask yourself carefully, how many people are you going to hurt? Are you going to get hurt because of your stubbornness?" Audrey snarled. "The police will come. They're going to eventually realize that poor woman went missing. What do you want me to what do you want from me?" She turned towards the door and opened it back before snarling. I'm not staying up here to argue. I'm going back to be with our family. Where you belong to, John." Don't you walk away," I screamed louder. I was shaking, convinced she would kill me in a second if she could. Oh, she turned her head and gave me a curious look. "The house already told you what it needs. I suggest you start listening to it." Then she disappeared into the darkness and shut the door between us. I went to the door, struggled to get it open again, but it would not budge. I screamed in frustration as I touched the burnt letters. I'm such a wreck. I forgot to mention what the message was. More. It said, "This house wants more." And I think I just gave it exactly what it needed. This is really cool. I know it's like the end of the story, but like that is so cool. This was part 2. I had read part 1. Is there another? Oh. Ooh, these are so good. r/nosleep. I grew a boyfriend in my garden. I just grew my very own boyfriend in the corner of my garden, where there's always much sun and sometimes a bit of rain. I watched the small bucket filled with fresh potted soil every day, and then the first sprouts make their way out. Turns out it grew much faster than any other plant could. Now, I didn't intend to grow a boyfriend, of course. Nobody starts their gardening journey having something like that in mind. I'm relatively regular, not entirely odd. It was more of an experiment than a test of a hypothesis. Turns out growing humans is easy. Why do people go through the hassle of childbirth? I'm exaggerating, of course. I wouldn't be writing to you if everything went fine and well with my lover in soil. Let me tell you where I found the idea and starting kit. I moved to this strange town very recently and have therefore been just a bit lonely. It's become hard to meet new people you connect with. It proved even harder in a small town where everyone happens to be rather odd. I spent most of my time getting my small new home in order, decorating, painting, and building. But when the insides were finally ready, I still had this time, so I proceeded with the garden. So I had soil filled with tomatoes, pumpkins, sunflower seeds. I planted parsley, onions, and basil. Flowers, and even small trees that would provide me fresh lemons. When boredom was still too present, I went to the I'm gonna read this. Peculiar market. Peculiar. That's an odd word. Peculiar market was only in town on very odd days. The last time I was there was February the 19th, when I had only moved here and had no time. I cannot say for sure why the day I went was odd, but it must have been. I could tell by the weather. The sun was shining, and as bright as it had been all year. There were a few clouds on the baby blue sky. They were fluffy and white, like fresh cotton candy. The trail to the market was empty. Not a single person was walking on the pebbly road with much green on the left and right. As soon as I got close to the marketplace, they were all there. Not all, but a lot of people. I strolled through the alleys and saw many interesting booths, but somehow I was attracted to one that was the very end of the second alley. A wooden table. Nothing special, but a man behind it smiled and waved as he saw me. "I know exactly what you need," he said as I approached. "And what is that?" And what is that? I asked. He pointed at my fingers. "Dirt, soil, garden work?" I nodded. "Want to grow something extraordinary for once." For once. How did he know that not everything I grow was extraordinary? He played with his waxed mustache and chuckled, and honestly, that's when I should have ran. That's when I should have run. But you can't be scared or weirded out on bright, sunny days. The yellow light makes everything seem okay. With his fingertips, he shoved a small brown box over the wooden table until it was right under my nose. "Growing kit for love. You are a young, pretty girl. Pretty girls don't need to be lonely." Well, his words were nice, and so was his face. I didn't appreciate those words. How did he even know that I was lonely? The box looked pretty interesting, though. The wood was old and a bit green, but not in a disgusting way. And the letters were written with violet paint. "Do I seem that pathetic?" I nervously chuckled. "No, you seem like a perfectly great gardener." Water. I know. Mabby. I know. But the interaction as well as the situation and the salesman were weird. Did I still buy the kit? Of course I did. What else is there to do in this tiny town that is beautiful but boring? The box came with one seed, cocoa peat soil, a small pot, and of course, a letter with instructions. Instructions for growing love. 1. Set the dry cocoa peat soil in a small container and add 27 drops of water. Mix well. Push the seed into the soil and think of your ideal, perfect person. Make sure you start the growing process outdoors and leave the container outside. You will see hints of green growing soon. When your love grows too big, plant them into a bigger container. Step 5. Bury them. Fun. I followed half the instructions. I did step 1 and 2, although thinking of perfect person provided a harder than expected. I don't know who would be ideal at all, but I figured maybe my subconscious was thinking of something, while my conscience mind was confused. Step 3, I kind of messed up because I had already started with step 1 and 2 before reading 3. I started the whole process in my kitchen, and then I wanted to place the pot outside. But that night, it started raining cats and dogs, and I left him on my kitchen window. I started calling it him. Please don't think I'm insane. I didn't expect a person to grow out of that soil. I believe it would be just some special plant, but I was excited for it nevertheless. It took only one night for the first hints of green to sprout. In the morning, the sun and the warmth were back, so I moved the small pot out into the garden. At afternoon, The plant had grown so big, the small pot was on the brink of breaking. So I planted him into the nicest corner of the garden, the one that is kissed by the sun the most. I would have gone back to the market to ask the mustache man what kind of plant could possibly grow so fast. But as I mentioned before, the market is only there on very odd days. The following morning, he was there. He was not a plant. He was a young man with very dark hair and very pale skin that doesn't see the sun often, which makes sense considering he lived underneath the dirt until now. I'm kidding, of course. I have no idea where that guy had come from, but he was suddenly sitting in the garden. The spiky pick in his hand. What the hell? I shouted as he turned around, seemingly surprised. What are you doing in my garden? I tried to say confidently, while searching for my phone with my shaky hand. You probably mean our garden, he answered nonchalantly. Now, I should probably mention that I am not the only person that can reach the garden. The house I live in has form of capital square C with other homes on the other sides of... Oh, jeez. Let me read that sentence again. The house I live in has the form of a capital square C. That made no sense to me. With other homes on the other side of the letter. However, the neighbors I have are a mean old lady that never comes outside, and a businessman who I only saw once because he was always on the road. The stranger in my garden smiled and waved as if he hadn't just given me half a heart attack. Which home do you live in? This one, he answered without pointing anywhere. I felt a bit threatened. But then I saw, oh boy, it's Morv standing in her window. She often stood there and watched me in the garden, but despite my efforts, she hardly ever engaged in conversation with me. However, now she was smiling at the strange guy in the garden. She even waved at him. Though, not at me. No, I received an eye roll instead. Don't worry. She warms up to people eventually. The stranger jumped up from the ground and reached out his arm. Aaron Ashton. I shook his hand. Oh boy, names. Son of Flores. That's a very fitting name, he smiled. Nice to meet you, neighbor. I may ask why on earth you moved to this place, he laughed. That was a very legitimate question. Most people move to big cities after graduating to find work. I chose a tiny town surrounded mostly by fields and water. Somehow, the quietness was exactly what I was seeking, though. I inherited the apartment, and I just couldn't bring myself to sell it. Aaron and I became great friends in no time. How much more of this story? A lot more. Okay, understandable. Aaron and I became great friends. He grew up here, but had been gone for years because of college. He was the son of the businessman. He showed me gems of the town that I hadn't seen yet. The best bakery, and where to get the nicest coffee. He explained to me how this place indeed was a bit odd, but could also be very fun. I was distracted by the new friendship that I almost forgot about my little project in the garden. I didn't tell Aaron what I had grown. There because well, how do you explain to someone that you just tried to grow love? The last time I checked, my plant had been growing towards becoming a tree. But on this Saturday, I went to the garden to have some coffee with Aaron. It was dead. The plant had fallen to the ground like a lifeless snake. The bright green looked rotten and tainted. How do you kill a plant so quickly? It's almost impressive, he said as we were standing above the corpse of my lover. I struggled. I need to bury it now. Aaron raised an eyebrow. That was step 5. Aaron raised an eyebrow. That was step 5 of the instructions. But I couldn't tell him that. He didn't question it much. He didn't question it much longer. Oh boy, he didn't question it much longer though. He simply thought I had much love for the plant, which isn't a terrible character trait. Either way, I didn't really need the plant anymore. I'd found Aaron after all. We hadn't taken the step from friendship to more yet. I still slept alone in bed at night. At least that's what I thought. It was the middle of the night, after 4 a.m., I believe, when I felt sharp fingernails. Ew. I was still half asleep when it started. But as my mind slowly woke, I felt the anxiety and terror run through my blood. It wasn't enough to mobilize my body yet, however. I was frozen. My heart was beating so fast, I thought it would break out of my chest, and that's where I'm going to stop for now. Ooh, I've been talking a lot, so my voice is like dying. It's also really early, and I do have things to attend to today. I have a lot of things to do today, so that's fun. I plan to finish reading this probably next stream. I might start off next stream with this, and then attempt video games. So I'm gonna save this. Boop. I need to get rid of something in here. There we go. Me. Perfect, alright. Alright, there. So that's where I'm gonna end stream, is on that one. I will finish it next time, potentially. I was gonna answer the text. I will do that in a second. Alright, so thank you for being here. I'm gonna try to fix the issue and be able to like stream games again. But for right now, it looks like we're reading through No Sleep subreddit, which is exciting. But yeah, that's everything. So as always, I will see you whenever I stream again. Right, announcements and stuff. So if you missed streams and want to watch some cool gaming streams and other fun streams, check out YouTube. All the VODs go up there. If you want updates, check out my Twitter. If you are interested in joining a Discord, consider joining mine. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for vibing. Thank you for joining us. Always, I will see you whenever I stream again.